Okay, we are going to get started. Thank you so much for sharing. I was not expecting a lot of those requirements, so this is really exciting. So welcome to our image annotation for research and communication workshop. Today we're going to be looking at three different tools. Depending on where you're coming from, you may find some of them more useful than the others. The first one is it's purely research, and then as we go through the tools, we will get more into the communication part. So that's exciting. I'll be sharing a few links with you, and I'll be sharing images as well, so that you can, or the image that we are going to be working on. If you have your own image that you want to work on, that's fine by me. I just chose an image that I know can sort of like apply to the different things that we might need to do, but it is entirely up to you which one you want to use. That's sort of fine. I just realized I did not introduce myself. My name is Marcela. I am the librarian for Hispanic Studies for the School of Information Studies, and I'm also the coordinator of the Digital Scholarship Hub, which is the sort of like the area that puts on these types of workshops. I will do one more bit of a self-promotion and then which I realized I didn't do before. I should have done it. I should have prepped for it. But if you like this kind of things, we have workshops throughout the semester, but there is a week in February where we do our Love Data Week, and we have a lot of really exciting stuff going on. I'm just going to move really quickly and find you, share the link with you just in case you are interested. We have workshops, but we also have talks and all kinds of things that related to data. So just know that that's happening. I'm just going to put it in the chat just so that you have it in case you're interested. Perfect. And now we are going to get started. I'm just going to share with you the image that we will use, and then we will go from there. Now, what you're seeing on my screen right now, this is our McGill Library Guides, or sometimes we call them LibGuides. If you have never seen them, just how to get here, you go to our McGill Library webpage, and then you go to Research Guides, and then you will see all of our guides. You can search for it. You can look for them by librarian. So you will look like, if you want something that you know that I've done, you could look for my name. But for us today, we're just going to do annotation for today, and then we're going to find it that way. There we go. And I'm going to share this with you. So this guide is for all kinds of digital annotations. So it also has tabs for text annotation and for audio and video annotations. The thing that we are going to be working on today is images, because that's what this workshop is about. But I am going to share that link with you. Perfect. And then last thing I'm going to do, and then I promise we will get started, is I'm going to share on the chat. I'm just going to put the image that I will be working with. Again, you can do whatever you want. I'm just going to be working with this one because I know it has a lot of the things that I want to show you. Perfect. Okay. And let me go back to, there we go. Perfect. And now we're gonna get started. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna take the camera away. I'm gonna turn my camera off just so that it doesn't obstruct the recording of this session, but we'll bring it back once we are talking about questions. If you have questions as I go, put them in the chat. I would appreciate if when you have questions that are about what we're doing, you put them in the chat right away, and I'll answer them right away. If you have questions or maybe are not as related, or about another tool you've heard or something like that, leave those towards the end so that we can get through everything. Okay, and now we are still promised that now we are starting. Okay, so today, as I said, we're going to talk about three tools. We're going to talk about, I don't even know how to pronounce, how it's pronounced, but Recogito is how I would want to call it. We're going to look into Glycerine, and then we're going to look into stories. So these are the three that we're going to look at. There's links to all of them in the last link I showed you in the guide, but I'm also going to be sharing the links in the chat as we go along. So we're going to start with Recogito. Recogito is a tool that allows you to annotate both images and text. It's a nice platform in which we can annotate. And then the nice thing is that it prepares then your annotations in ways that you can use them for research. So Recogito is not a tool that we're going to use to communicate our research, but it's a good tool for us to do annotations, and then we could technically use for research. And then what's really nice is that it gives us a lot of options of exporting it. So it's not just an Excel file or a CSV, but it allows you to export your data in formats that you can put into network analysis tools, that you can put into GIS software, so into Google Earth or into other other mapping tools. So we're going to start there. I'm just going to share the link with you. I'm going to log out myself so that I can go in there with you guys. Okay. So I'm just going to share the link with you. There we go. And then I'm going to have you, while I talk, I'm going to have you create an account. I'm just going to log in myself, and then we'll go from there. So, but I'll talk while you create an account. So I'm just going to log in myself. And then once we get to Recogito, like to your page, it looks like this. It's pretty simple. Here are all the files that I'm working on or that I worked on. And then I have here a button that says new. So I'm going to wait a little bit until you folks can actually get it, get your account. If you can tell me once you've gotten to your account, that'd be wonderful. So that we can start. Maybe just put it in the chat. I'm going to give you like hopefully 2 minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay, I hope everyone is making progress. As you are able to get into your account, if you can just tell me, it can just be a reaction or just put it in the chat just for me to know that you are indeed with me. Okay, so I have someone who's already there. Perfect. Okay, so we're seeing people are doing it. That's fine. So as I mentioned before, Recogito is a tool that allows us to annotate both text and images. For text, we can do a variety of file formats. You can do Excel file, like spreadsheets. You can do text files. I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure like you can do PDF as well. And of course, you can do images. If you are interested in the text part, we are having a workshop on that on February. It's on that link that I sent you. It's between February 10th and February 14th. I can't remember exactly which day we're doing it, but I think it's on the Tuesday, so it will be February 11th. I'm doing one on the text sort of like part of Recogito. So what can we do with Recogito is we can annotate images and texts. And let's get started. So you have the image. So to add the image, you can do two things. You can either come here to new, and you have a variety of ways of adding an image. So IIIF is a format for, it's a framework for images. And and it's a framework for really high quality images that also comes with a lot of metadata, so a lot of information. Some of those images, or most of those images, are available online in museums or specific libraries or things like that. So if you were working with something that had a IIIF manifest, you could just put the link there and then it would upload or the image directly. For us today, we are just going to add the file. You can drag and drop, or you can do file upload and add it there. So whatever works best for you. I already added the image for myself because I was testing if it would work. But all you need to do is either drag and drop, or you go to new, file upload, and then it will ask you to choose a file that you need to use. In my case, it's already there. And once it is there, it's not that big of an image, so it shouldn't take that much time. All you need to do is actually click on it. So what I chose for today is a page from the Miller Atlas, which is a very old atlas. And once you have it in there, you're going to click on it. If you go to options, you can either open a new tab, you can duplicate it, you can delete it, you can create subfolders. For us, we are just going to open it. And what I'm going to get is the map on the screen. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of what we have in here and what we can do. So the first is where we annotate. It's like this little circle with a document view. That is where we make our annotations. We then have the map view. Right now, we don't have any annotations, so like nothing is showing up. But once we start, we annotate things with places. Those places will show up in that map. We also get statistics for annotations. Right now, again, we have no annotations, so it doesn't matter. I forgot to say that this is also a collaborative tool, so you could, if you're annotating things with colleagues, you can do that. So here and for contributors, right now we don't have anyone because nobody has done anything. But if we had more than once, it would show us who has, like, how many has each contributor done. And then here are download options. So for images, it's a little bit different than for text. So for images, you can download our stuff into CSV, RDF, and then this is when we talk about places. These are the two different formats that we have. The KML, you can use it for Google Earth and a few other mapping tools. But we're going to go back to the document view, and then annotating is fairly easy. So here you can say, I want to do a point, a rectangle, a tilted box, or a linked box. We're not going to do the linked box right now, but for now, we are going to do just a plain rectangle. And so this is a really old map. I'm going to start talking about that. And I think I'm trying to remember what I did here, but it is no map and it is Europe. Like here you have here I have Spain, for example. So all I need to do if I want to annotate something is I'm going to choose the area that I want to annotate. And then because I'm doing a rectangle, I'm going to do one click, and then I'm just going to create a rectangle and then click again. And I'm going to, if you were doing just a point, then once you click, you would get this box. And you're going to see that it says place, person, or event. So we can annotate it with whatever we want, but it always gives us this option to do these 3 types of annotation: for a place, for a person, or for an event. Now, in our case right now, this is only a place because there are no people here, or events. But once we click on place, I'm going to show you what happens. Right now, it can't figure it out. When we're doing text, it can read what the text says, so it will look for it. But right now, what we would do is we search. I know that that place is actually Spain. And then it looks into different, the word is escaping my mind right now. But in different places where you could find, actually, because I have the book right here, different places that have identified places. I'm gonna call it like different atlases. Let's call it atlases. They're not atlases, but right now I can't think of the word. So it has different ones that it looks at. The most popular one that it does is geonames. So it will be like a directory of places. Thank you, a directory. So it has a few, and then you can search. So if you can either search for the city or the country, or you could search in one of these directories for, maybe I'll send you later the link of, sorry, the list of the directories. But you can search for the place in GeoNames and then just put that name, but that number that will give you for GeoNames. But in our case, I'm just going to do Spain because I know that's Spain. And then you can see if it's in orange, then it's knows about it, but it's not located. But if it's in green, which is GeoNames, then it will show up. I click on it, and then I just click on it again. And then I could add a comment if I wanted, like something about the gold thing or the name, or the, anything. If I knew more about this, I would be able to add more stuff, but I'm just going to write annotation 1. Here you can also see that it says transcribe, so you could also transcribe what you see. In the image, if you were working with something like an old manuscript, for example, you could even transcribe it there. And then you would be, so here it says Hispania. There we go. Now, before I close my annotation, I want to talk a little bit about the person and event. So it's really easy to find, to use those directories for place, because we are working with the geography. With people is a little bit different. But sort of a recommendation that they do for this particular tool is that if you are going to annotate a person, you go into something like Wikidata or the Virtual International Authority file, and then you look for the person and it will give you a number for that person. And that way you can keep track that you are working every single time and that you're annotated in it with the same person. Not everyone will be here because you need to be of some notability to be included in this. But if you were working with people who do have that notability, if I have something in history that was looking at an old manuscript, then you could look for the person, and then I'll give you an example. I don't know, I just saw Mariah Carey. I just came to my head. I don't know why. So you could just click on it, and then you have that VF ID, and then you could annotate it as person, and then just add that ID so that you know that that person is that person. And then once I'm done here with my annotation, I'm just going to click on OK, and that's it. I have annotated. And then I just want to show you that if I go to the map now, it's showing me Spain because I have done it. We'll do one more together just because we can. Okay. We're going to do here Sardinia. So point, rectangle here. And I'm going to do place. And I'm going to transcribe here. Sardinia. Okay, they did it the same way. Okay. And now I'm just going to go back to our map, and I'm just going to show you that it's showing me the 2 places. So as I keep adding, I will get more places. And then any other annotation that I do that's more about people or places, or that's just text, I would be able to then get everything into a CSV file that I could use for research in whichever way I want to do, depending on what your research question is about. It's fairly easy. I'm going to show you another use that I like. Again, I mentioned if you're working with manuscripts. So I'll just give you an example here. This is a travel diary of someone. And I'm able to, looking at the manuscript, map the different places this person has been. I could just use it to transcribe what it says, but also I can just map the different places that are being mentioned here. I have dates, so I can do the events. So I have a lot of different ways of doing it. It's just like with an image and doing the maps, but there's other things that I can do with those annotations. I could give background into the different things that they're mentioning, changing the names, and things like that. So it's a nifty tool. And again, if you're interested in the text aspect, we will be looking into that in February. But this tool is specifically for research, like there's no public interface for this. The other two that we're going to look at now do have a public interface. So this has been Recogito. Okay. And I'm going to also send you the link to the VF just so that you have it. Because, you know, right before today's workshop, I was trying to find it. So, and I couldn't remember what it was called. Perfect. Lovely. Okay. So now we're going to move on to our next tool, which is called Glycerine. Now, Glycerine is a tool that it has a free option that's quite limited. It also has a paid version. Now, you might not need it. So the free version allows you to have 10 images, and that might be enough. If you were doing a bigger project, maybe you can use part of your project funds to work on that. But it's a tool that I really liked. It's a tool that allows you to annotate images. It works again with IIIF, as I mentioned before, but also you can add your own images. And then you can annotate them, but it does have a public interface. It's actually a tool that was built mainly for museums and things like that, so that you can annotate these big images that you have museums and libraries putting out there. And again, offer context, offer information. So this is an example that I have on my guide that I personally created. And this is a map of, it's in Italian, but it's geographic, like a cartoon map of Europe, right? And this is from 1941, if I'm not mistaken. So right in the middle of World War, sorry, not 1941, I'm lying. This is the First World War. There we go. So in 1917. And it shows how this person in Italy sees the conflict that's going on with First World War. And again, I can annotate different parts of my map to share more information with my users. So for example, let's come here and we have Spain and Portugal. If I click on it, then I get that, you know, the map is showing Spain and Portugal looking away. I have a little explanation that I wrote about what the artist meant to showcase by putting Spain and Portugal this way. I also read what it says at the bottom. That gives me a bit more hints into it. Ideally, I would be an expert on this when I work on this. So I have my explanation about what it says, and then I'm able to add links. So for example, in this case, I added a link to the Encyclopedia of the First World War, where it talks about Spanish neutrality. Let's go back. Here, for example, I'm talking about the use of machinery on the part of Russia to show the technology of the new war. And then I have a link again to the technology of World War I from the National Airs and Space Museum at the Smithsonian. So I'm able to do those kinds of things. You are able to add links, which I personally really like. You could even have it in different languages. So again, this is a much more public-facing annotation. You could still use it for your own, like for you to annotate it, but it does have that public interface that allows you to make it really nice for other people. So now we are going to start playing with it. Now, one thing that you don't notice for Glycerine that is different from our next tool, which would be stories, is that with Glycerine, the user decides what they want to read. With stories, it's more like we're guiding people through this image. So we're gonna go to Glycerine. I'm gonna share the link with you. And again, I'm gonna give you a few minutes to create your account. So I'm sharing the link with you. And then I'm going to, again, give you a couple minutes. So to create your account, you're going to go to Glycerine, International, and then you're just going to say either research or education. And then just maybe we'll do education. I did it so long ago, but yeah, you just sign up and then we're going to create your account. In my case, I've already registered, so I'm just going to log in. And again, I'll give you a couple of minutes to do this. So I'll be back. Yes, we're going to use the same images. The image that we have is it's an open image, so anyone can use it. Actually, I got it from Key Images. It has a CC license. So yes, we're going to be using the same images. Again, if you have another image that you want to use that you use for your research, more than welcome to do it. I always like to offer an image so that everyone can have something to work with. But if you have your own, that's also totally fine. Let me know once you are able to log in so that I know that this one can take a little bit longer. So let me know once you are able to log in so that I can actually keep going. I should also tell you that my neighbors have decided to start hammering now. So if you hear hammering sounds, that's what it is. Okay, how is everyone doing? Are we getting close? I promise at the last tool, you don't even need to sign in. It's gonna be really easy. It's just this one takes a little bit longer. Okay, we're waiting for the confirmation email. This is also good. As again, I'm telling you, this is the first time ever that I'm pitching this class. So it also is telling me that I need to get you guys to sign up for Glycerine at the beginning of the workshop so that then we're ready to go when it happens. But what can we do? Or have you even do it before the workshop? But oh no, testing is my own thing. Testing is the name of my. Someone says like that there's that doesn't have the testing section. Testing is the name of my folder. No. You shouldn't see testing. Testing is my own thing. Is when I'm playing with things, I call everything testing or test one or test two or things like that. Yours should be just add collection. Okay, so we have one person at least that's already in. Okay. Yeah, I know. I like the name maybe makes it seem that is something different, but no, it's just me testing things. While you are getting, I'll give you like maybe 1 more minute. And if not, if you're not able to join us, totally fine. Like to follow along, that's totally fine. I'm recording this, so you'll be able to get it then as well. And I promise the last one, we don't need to do anything. But I'll just show you. So I have like the one that you saw. I have one nice little thing that this tool does also is that it produces that AAAF manifest. Someone asked, yes, it's asking if you're getting the recording session. Yes, so I upload sessions to YouTube, to our YouTube channel. And then after I do that, maybe sometime this week, I'll be emailing you the link so that everyone will also get access to that. And you can share it with people, or if you have a work group that you have, you're going to get that. Okay. So as I was saying, one thing that Glycerine does is that it will create that AAAF manifest that we saw before with in Recogito. And there is one tool that I use that only allows you to use AAAF images. So you need a manifest. So which is this one over here. It's the it's called Exhibit. So in my case, for example, I uploaded my images from, this is an old Spanish magazine. I uploaded it to Glycerine to get that AAAF link or manifest, and then I was able to upload it to this tool called Exhibit and create what I needed to create. Okay, I think I'm gonna get started just because I want to be mindful of time. Hopefully everyone can join us at some point. But yeah, so this is what Glycerine looks like. Again, I have something here because I've already worked with it. For you, it will just say add collection. And then here we have edit, add image set, import from AAAF manifest, import from institution, and share. We're gonna first add a collection. It's very easy. I'm gonna click on add collection. And then I'm going to give it a name. So I'm gonna do January workshop. And then I can add a description should I want to or not. It's really up to you. In my case, I'm not going to just because I don't have anything to say right now. And I am going to create. And then I have this page. This is January workshop. And then I have the same options that I had before. So we are going to add images to it. And as you can see, there are different ways to add images. I can do the add image set, which is what we're going to do. If I had a AAAF manifest, I could do that. And if you're wondering where to get a AAAF manifest, if you just Google AAAF and sources, you'll get a list of places where you can find images with AAAF manifests. But you can also add your own image. So that's what we're going to do today. And then you could also import from institution. I'll just show you what this looks like. So if I click on that, then I could search for things that institutions have put online already, and then I could just import it. So like, let's just show if I do map. Let's see if that will work. It'll give me maps that are already like existing in repositories or archives or things like that. So I could do that as well. I'm not gonna add that one. We're gonna add the one that we have. So add image set. And then when we click on add image set, what we get is we're gonna have to put a lot of some information here. So I'm gonna add, so this is the atlas. This is a Miller atlas, actually. Miller atlas. And then I could add a remote image, add a AAAF image, or upload a local image. That's what we are going to do. We have like that local image that we're going to upload. So I'm just gonna add, and then I'm going to do Europe, because I could potentially have the entire Miller Atlas, which is actually has been digitized, and you can find it at the Bibliothèque Nationale de France. Some of it, as I said, it's on a wiki images as well, but we're just working with one, but I could technically have all of them. We could add a description, and then I'm just going to choose the image. So if you're thinking like, oh, she has some weird images in there, is because I had to ask ChatGPT to do a what's it called? An image of the crucifixion, and that's what it gave me. Okay. So then I could have an explanation, and I'm just going to click on add. And hopefully it will work. If not, we'll use small image. Okay, lovely. Why are you not I'm wondering if there's something that it's not liking. Let's see. Okay, so I have the image. Again, I can add a description. I could do the attribution. So I'm going to do BNF, which is the Bibliothèque Nationale de France. I could add more languages to my annotations. As seen here. And then I'm going to click on create. And I have my image. Lovely. So again, I could have, so this is an image set. So I could just have the one image, or I could have multiple images. In our case, right now, we only have the one. Now let's go ahead and annotate this baby. So I'm going to click here where I have the 3 dots. And you're going to see it says edit, annotate, delete, or publish. So I'm going to click on annotate. And eventually and I'm going to click on add annotation set. So you could have multiple annotation sets. I'm just going to write Europe again. I could ask add a description. I could select a vocabulary. We're not going to worry with that right now. And I'm just going to click on create. So I have an annotation set. I could have multiple ones. And we are going to annotate. So I click on the little vignette. So, and then we're going to start annotating. If the image decides to show up. I don't know what's going on with this today. It's just too slow. Maybe it's too big of an image. Could be that it's too big of an image. We're going to let it do its thing. While it does its thing, you can see that you can do lines, you can do circles, you can do ovals, you can do circles, you can do squares, and you can do polygons to annotate things, depending on what you want. Eventually, we'll get there. So I'm going to just get closer to what I want and find something that I want to annotate. Okay, we're just going to do one just cause. But I'm going to do a circle just because I can. And then I'm just going to make a circle. I click on my mouse and then I just drag and I make that wonderful circle. And then this is what it looks like when you do that. You get a title. Again, if I had more languages, I could switch the languages. In my case right now, I only have one. So this is just, let's see if I can, I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to try to do another one in a place that I know more about. Okay, we're going to do this one over here, just boats, let's say. So you see that the boats have a cross. So I'm going to assume, I might be wrong, but I'm going to assume like it's trying to showcase like a Spanish boat, Spanish or Portuguese or some kind of Catholic ship. So I'm just going to do my annotations. I'm just going to do ships and then the cross on the sails represents Catholic. Do not take my word for this. Although I do have another map where I did some research and it does say that. And then I could even add a link here. So if I had a source, an article, an encyclopedia, a web page, I could add a link here. I can also select vocabulary and add tags should I want to. You don't have to, but you could if you wanted. And then you could just add more notes. about image, about the actual annotation. Should you want to, but I'm just going to click here. And then once I click on create, the annotation is here. I don't know why it's taking so long for this to load today. I don't know, maybe there are just too many people using it. And then let's see, we're going to do another one. We're going to do a square here. And I'm just going to do here, and it says mod. And I could just, this is a body of water. Perfect. And I will just go and create. Again, I could just look for, let's see if we can just Google it really quick and see what it is. Okay, a lot of restaurants, not what we wanted. We would need to do some more research for this. But if I had found something, I could just add it here as a URL. Again, I'm going to click on create. Now, right now, everything we've done is private, so people cannot see it. So I'm just going to go back to here, to generate workshop. And then you're going to see, again, we're talking about edit, annotate, and publish. So if I wanted to make it public and be able to share it, just like I shared it with you, or how I have embedded it here, what I need to do is I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click first on publish. But right now, what I'm going to publish is just the image, okay? So I have published the image. So now when I click on the three dots, I also have the public URL. But this has only published the image. It hasn't published the annotations. So should I want to publish the annotations, I'm going to go to annotate. And then I'm going to have to publish my annotations. So are you sure you want to publish the annotation set? The answer is yes. Lovely. And I can always unpublish things, which is what I'm going to do once we're done with this. But if I go back now, and I would go and watch it, see it, I'm just going to open this right now. And it will show my annotations. So just know that you have to publish. If you want people to see them, you got to publish them. It also gives you an embed code, which is, for example, what I used to put the map here. So this is an embed code, and this is what I used to work this here. So if you have a website or something like that, you could do that. And then again, as I mentioned, remember I said it creates a IIIF manifest. If you wanted to use it for something else that requires a IIIF manifest, it will give you the manifest over here. So it's quite nice, quite a good tool to use in that sense. I'm just going to unpublish everything, because it's not my best work. And then we are going to go from there. So as you can see, unpublishing, super easy. And then you can, once you publish, you can share the link with anyone. Now, because I unpublished the image, it doesn't mean that I have unpublished the annotation. So I'm just going to unpublish everything so that I know that nobody can see that. So yeah, so this is Glycerine. It's a nice tool. Again, the only drawback is it is a paid tool. You get 10 images for free. And then if you need more for a bigger project, you might need to get a subscription. It's not terribly expensive, I have to say. So it's doable if you have funds, if you're working with funds. And now we're going to move on to our last tool of the day, which is called Stories with with 3 eyes. And maybe you are noticing a bit of a pattern, actually 2 patterns. Number one is Stories has 3 eyes, as has IIIF, which I mentioned before. Again, this framework for images. It works with IIIF images. It also works with images that you upload. And remember how I told you that with Glycerine, your audience could choose what they wanted to see or how they wanted to interact with the map. This is Stories, and with Stories, we are doing storytelling. So we are guiding our audience through the image that we have. So in our case, for example, with the Miller, like this is another page from the Miller Atlas. This is the Indian Ocean. So I'm guiding my user, and then as I'm guiding them and showing them things, I'm adding these annotations that I have here. So remember I talked about the cross before? This is where I got it from. So again, this one, I can do that, but I am zooming in into the text and into the image, and then I am guiding people through this story. I'm telling a story with this image. So how do we do this? Super easy. Let me just share the link with you one more time for the last time today. And as I mentioned, for this one, we don't have to create an account. So it's very easy. So once you are on this page, the stories page, you are going to see that there is a button that says stories editor. I'm just going to scroll down for like that. Also, you could host it yourself if you want. If you have your own website, you can install it on your website and host it yourself. So this link over here, the open source stories, that takes you to a GitHub page where you can actually get everything you need to install it on your website. For us today, we're just going to come here to the stories editor and do it that way. So I'm going to click here, button says on the green part, big button that says stories editor. And it's going to take me to a page that looks like this. And I just realized that this image might be a bit big. So if it is, we're going to choose another image. That's fine. So I'm going to choose file. Let's see if it's going to like this one. That might be too big. Yeah, it's too big. Let me send you another. Well, let me choose another image that we can use. We're going to use my weird crucifixion ones because why not? Let me just send it to you. I'll tell you a little bit more about this image. I was in a workshop on AI images, and we were sort of trying to see if what we got was different. So we were working originally with a real painting of the crucifixion. So we were all looking for what we would get. And for some reason, I got that image. So we're going to do the title crucifixion. Help us if I know how to spell. Yeah, so sometimes like there is a limit. If you're using a IIIF image, it's not an issue. Which actually, to be quite honest, I could use the IIIF image because this map has them, but just for time, I want to do this. And then the author for me is, no, it was Microsoft Copilot. There we go. I'm just going to put my email address so that you need to put an email address. And then description, you can do whatever you want. And then I'm just going to write here again, Microsoft. Pilot. And I'm just going to accept terms and conditions and edit the story. And then very easy. All we really need to do is I'm going to click on add new. Actually, I'm not going to click on new just yet. I'm going to drag my, I'm going to zoom in as much as I can into the part that I want to highlight. And then I'm just going to do annotation one again, just for the sake of time. And then maybe my second annotation will be about this women over here. And then I'm going to do a third one about, I don't know, this point over here. Okay, so I have my annotations. If I click and drag, I can reorder them in whichever order I want them. As you can see, like they're not as complex as the Glycerine ones. Like I just get some text and that's it. And then I'm going to go to preview. And my image will sort of like be annotated and it will just show me a tour through the image. Now, important things about stories that we need to pay attention to. Number one is, if you remember, we didn't sign in for this. We just started working. So you will get an email to whatever email address you put in there that will have a link to go back to edit the story. Or you can, actually, no, you want to use that one. So this is to share with the world. But if you want to edit the story, then this is the link that you need, and you would need to come back to it. So you would need to bookmark it. You, as I said, you also get it as an email. So it's not the end of the world if you don't do it right now. You will get it as an email saying, these are the links, but there is a link. You kind of had to have the link to go back to edit it. There's no other way to edit if you don't have the link. And then you have the link to show with world, and it also gives you this the embed code. Again, I have it here. This is how I have embedded it. And this is the last one, it's called exhibit. This one only uses AAAF manifest images. So you would need to go to Glycerine and create it there and then use it. We are not going to go over it today, but if you look at it and you have any questions, you can always just reach out to me and I can talk to you about it. So I'm going to stop the recording and then you can let me know if you have any questions or anything else that you want to talk about. To our viewers, thank you so much for viewing.